Hi everyone, welcome to Study and Explore. In this video, we will study some acts and policies related to environment. In this video, we will mainly cover pollution related acts. First is Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1974. The main objective of this act is to prevent and control water pollution and to maintain the purity and wholesomeness of water in the streams, wells or on land. This act establishes State Pollution Control Boards or SPCB and Central Pollution Control Boards or CPCB. The aim of the duty of SPCB is to establish and enforce effluent standards for factories which discharge pollutants into water bodies. Similarly, CPCB performs this function for union territories. Along with it, the role of CPCB is also to formulate policies and to coordinate and check the works of various state pollution control boards. This act grants power to SPCB and CPCB to test equipment and to take the samples for analysis. Before this amendment in 1988, the enforcement under this act was achieved through criminal prosecutions initiated by the boards. But in 1988, an amendment was made to the Water Act of 1974, after which the CPCB and SPCB were empowered to close a defaulting industrial plant. It means that if the boards find out any industrial plant or a factory which is not following the norms and standards of the boards, then it can close the such defaultive industrial plant. But before this amendment, they can carry out certain criminal prosecutions under this act to achieve this act. But after this, they can directly close the such defaultive industrial plant. So we can see that the Water Act of 1974 is mainly focused to protect the water bodies from getting polluted because of the industrial waste, and it is mainly enforcing the standards of discharging effluents into the water bodies by the boards. Next is Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Cess Act of 1977. Water cess refers to a tax levied under the Water Act of 1977, and it is levied on the water consumed by persons operating and carrying on certain types of industrial activities. Water Cess Act was passed to generate financial resources to meet the expenses of the central and state pollution control boards. And this act is also giving an economic incentives to the industries so that they may discharge less pollutants and effluents into the water bodies, because more they will discharge the effluents, more they have to pay the tax. Similarly, it is acting as an economic incentives for such industrial plants to discharge less waste into the water bodies, thus protecting the water bodies. Also, it also gives 70% of rebate of applicable cess upon installing effluent treatment equipments, which means that if an industry or any factory installs such equipments or such mechanism into the industry which treats the effluents before discharging them into the water bodies, which prevents contamination and pollution of the water bodies, then 70% of rebate in the tax will be awarded to such industry. So the Water Cess Act of 1977 is a very important act which is preventing the pollution caused by the industries and factories by acting as an economic incentive, and it is a good step to prevent water pollution. Next is the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1981. The main objective of this act is to improve the quality of air and to prevent the pollution of air in the country. The Framework of Air Act is similar to the Framework of Water Act of 1974. It has expanded the authority of central and state pollution control boards to include the control of air pollution also. as we see earlier that under the Water Act of 1974, the state pollution control boards and central pollution control boards were established. So now under the Air Act of 1981, the working area or the authority of the both SPCB and CPCB has been expanded to cover the controlling measures of air pollution as well. This act also grants power to SPCB and CPCB to carry out any test and analysis about the samples from chimney, fly ash or dust or any other material they think necessary. In the 1988 Amendment Act, as we saw earlier in the Water Act also, has granted power to SPCB and CPCB the authority to close such defaulting industrial plant. So this is applicable in this act as well. And if we talk about 1987 amendment, it introduced a citizen suit provision into the Air Act and extended the act to include noise pollution. So we can see that Air Act is mainly focused on preventing air pollution which is caused by industries and factories by releasing a lot of dust and ash without using any mechanism to treat the waste and that causes air pollution. But by 1987 amendment, this act also includes noise pollution. So this act is mainly now controlling air and noise pollution as well. So in this video, we studied 3 acts: Water Act of 1974, Water Cess Act of 1977 and the Air Act of 1981 and the certain amendments made into these acts. This was all about controlling pollution. In the next videos, we will study some other environment related acts. So till then, thanks for watching and subscribe to Study and Explore.